What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All the Mods 7 to the Sky. Guys, last episode we were messing around with some of this mystical agriculture stuff, and since then I have made some changes here. You can see there's water in the center. We are no longer doing a 3x3. We're doing, well, I guess a 3x3 with a hole in the center. Yeah, I found out that you can waterlog these flux points, which is really nice. So I ended up putting our plant sower directly in the center here with the flux point on top, and then filled with water so we can keep this soil hydrated. Yeah, so I've done that, and then we are extracting the seeds in a different way. Whoop, that was like the wrong block to go down. Yeah, so we're extracting these in a different way. So if we look here, we can see that we have an ender chest, and the seeds, when the harvester harvests, goes into this ender chest, and then we're extracting out, and that goes into the plant sower here, and that's how we're keeping this fed. So we're kind of using the same setup we did before. We're still using this interface that's providing the seeds that the applied energistic system gets. You can see one just kind of popped in there. So as soon as that gets popped in, we extract out, that goes in the chest, and then instead of running a pipe all the way down and then over and then all the way up, we're just using ender chests to move the items over. Yeah, you can see down here at the ground, we are now have some prudentium growth accelerators. So I went ahead and I added those in. So yeah, we go all the way down here. It's pretty cool. And yeah, there's a hole in the center all the way up to the ender chest like we were just talking about. So yeah, I went ahead and I did that. We are growth accelerating our crops a little bit more. And we move the way the plant sower is positioned. So it is a lot faster now to replace all of the crops. I did actually have a couple of growth accelerators there that I forgot to put back in. Let me go ahead and add those back in there. So yeah, we have that. And then I have also done some things around here besides the mystical agriculture. Yeah, that should be filled in like so. And then we need our dirt blocks back like so. So yes, last episode, I think I was talking about, I wanted to bring our walls down here for our platforms to walk across. So I have actually done that on all of these now. Yeah, we had to make a whole bunch more white concrete so we can make these walls, but yep, I think that's a lot better. And now that we have those in place, I opened up, we can come down here. Yeah, I opened up walkways between our different platforms. So we don't actually have to come over, or we don't have to go upstairs over to a platform and then zip down using the elevators. We can just go down from anywhere and access any of these platforms, which I think is so much nicer. It's a lot easier to get around, and all of this kind of stuff leaves us with a lot more space to work with. And then I put in these ceilings. The way I did this is I mined up as far as I can mine, which I guess is like 5 blocks or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. Okay, so we have 7 block ceilings in here. And then, yeah, I put in a separate roof for our cables to come along. We didn't really need this in here, but I felt like I could use it. Oh, I did miss some blocks here, so I'll have to fix that. But yeah, I felt like this just kind of adds to the base a little bit more. I did have to move these guys. These were kind of sticking over here in the middle of the walkway, so I just mirrored those and moved them over. This pack has, I think it's called carry on. I'm not entirely sure, but if you walk up to a tile entity, you can shift right click on them and then move them around. So yeah, I was able to just easily move those things over. We do have our CPUs over here, which are in the way of this walkway. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with that. I was almost thinking we could inset these into the ground so they're flush with the ground, and that way we could walk over them. Or we could move them down a little bit and have like glass floors so we could see them down lower. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do, but I don't think they're going to stay there. They're a little bit in the way, like I was just saying, but either way, we have all of these walkways available now, and it just makes it so much easier to get around, and I like it. So I was going through our applied energistic system, and I noticed that we were clogging up our drives with some things, so I've had to add in some more drawers over here. So I have a drawer for our Inferium Essence. I had to put upgrades in this drawer here for the Prosperity Shards. Yeah, we didn't have those in here before, and this is only stacking to 2,000, and we were going through all sorts of sand, making more and more, just filling up our drives. We were also making salt from Mechanism. I think this is zinc. What is this? Yeah, zinc, and this one is uranium. So yeah, we have drawers for those as well. These are arcane crystals. I think this was coming from the sand also. And then these guys, the raw uranite, that was filling up our drives also. So I caught those in time. We didn't run out of space, but we were going to if I didn't pay attention to that. So we got those all hooked up. And then for our sand over here, I got rid of the material stonework factory that we're using. And I just went ahead and I did another set of these flux hammers. So yeah, we got a new cobblestone generator, which is putting cobblestone in here. This is turning cobblestone into gravel, putting into this one. This is taking the gravel, putting it into sand, and putting it directly into this compacting drawer. Yep, so that's how we got that happening right now, which I think is fantastic. So we'll have plenty of sand for the future. I noticed that we ran out of sand earlier. That's why I made this change. We ran out of sand because we were only making it like 2 pieces every 10 seconds or something, whatever the material stonework factory does. And I had to make a whole lot more white concrete. I was like, oh, well, let's make that change. So yeah, we went ahead and did that. So a few episodes ago, we started working on these FTB Industrial Contraptions. We made a centrifuge, the solar panel, the basic generator, and a battery box, and we haven't really done anything with them since. So in preparation for doing something with those machines, I went ahead and I added in a second auto crafting tower. I guess that's what you call it, auto crafting tower. The pattern providers, molecular assemblers. This essentially doubles the amount of recipes that we can store through applied energistics. So you can see there's a whole lot of blank spots there. And then we go into the recipes that we had before, and then a little bit of blank spots below. So we got lots of spots for crafting patterns, which is fantastic. Now, the reason why that we even started along this path, I mean, it seems kind of silly. Why use this mod when we have Mechanism over here that can do essentially the same thing? We can crush things and we can smelt things. Well, the reason why, if you missed that previous episode, if we take a look at this solar panel that comes from that mod, we look at the uses of it, we can see it makes as Nexium emitter, and that is used to make an ATM star. So you have to have this in order to make this, and then those stars, those are used to make a lot of the creative items for endgame in this pack. So we're not quite at endgame yet, but what I wanted to do was start into this mod and start progressing along the pathway to get to where we need to be here. So the EV solar panel requires the HVs, and the HVs require the MVs, and the MVs require the LVs. And I think the LVs are where we last left off. So what I'd like to do is start setting up patterns here to auto craft all of these components. So these electronic circuits use LV cables. The LV cables use rubber, copper, right? So we don't have patterns for any of this stuff. I am pretty sure. I think I'd crafted all that stuff manually. How did we get rubber? We use the rubber wood saplings and rubber wood logs, and I think we're using a method for extracting the rubber out of this stuff using tree taps or something. I can't remember. In buckets, I think is how that was. It was kind of an interesting thing if you guys did not catch that particular episode. So let's do this. We'll make a recipe for this. That's just regular glass, coal dust. Okay, it looks all good. So we do that. Silicon we now have being made automatically. In fact, I think we have like 20,000 silicon in the system. 24,000 silicon. So yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, so we need a recipe for the electronic circuits. We're going to need a recipe for the basic generator. The basic generator has these batteries that we're going to need a recipe for. Okay, the LV cable. Whoops, the LV cable needs a recipe. I don't think I made one. No. Okay, so there we go. LV cable. So we have the cable, we have the battery, we have the electronic circuit, we have the generator, the solar panel. I think there's still something else in here. Yeah, so industrial grade metal. We need to smelt iron into this in order to do something with that. So that needs to go into our smelting, ultimate smelting factory. There we go. Okay, so we put that in there, and we should be able to put all of these items in here, and hopefully, if everything is correct, we should be able to just auto craft LV solar. Although I feel like I have missed a recipe here. So we are missing coal dust and we are missing iron furnace. So we missed a couple of things here. So an iron furnace, coal dust was the other thing that we were missing. Yeah, coal dust. And that goes into the crushing factory, which was all the way at the bottom, I think. Infusing, enriching, crushing factory. We don't have any slots available. Okay, so that's kind of a problem. Let's put these other ones away though. So iron furnace and then a regular furnace. Do we have any vanilla recipes in here somewhere? Not really. I like trying to keep vanilla things together. I guess this is a row of vanilla stuff. I'll just put that right there. That should be just fine. Okay, so if I wanted to make the LV solar, I know we can't because we don't have the coal dust, but is that it? Yeah, that is it. Okay, so we need to solve this problem. Currently, we have a pattern provider on top of our ultimate crushing factory, and it has no more slots available. So we need to get another pattern provider talking to this thing, or we need to make a new machine altogether. Either way, this bank of machines right here, we have 7 machines, and then we have 1 additional interface back here providing these. So we're using 8 channels from Applied Energistics. We can't add any others to this, otherwise things are going to break. So what we're going to have to do is essentially separate this into banks of 4 and 4. That's one of the fun things about Applied Energistics. So in order to do that, we need to turn one of these pattern providers into a cable pattern provider. That way it doesn't talk to the neighbor next to it. And then we'll just have a cable running across. That'll end up putting a hole in our little bank here, so we'll be able to see through this. We'll have to fix that at some point. Maybe put a piece of white concrete behind it, or I don't know. We'll figure that out. But yeah, we need to break this up so we're not using all 8 channels here. So I think the one was behind this, yeah? Okay, so we'll break it off right here. So whatever this is, we'll do that. And this will turn into a cable like so. We'll put these patterns back in so I don't forget about that. So now we need to get some ME cable and a cable anchor. ME glass cable and 1 cable anchor. All right, so we want that separate from these over here. And that. Okay, so these over here are not going to have any connection because I do believe, yeah, our ME glass cable is coming up this side, and that was feeding all the channels over here. So we're going to have to do the same thing on this side. How many channels are we using in total here? We're using only 7, it looks like. Okay, so I need to extend this cable over and then run another cable over there and up. So let me just go ahead and take care of that. Great, that looks much better. So now we have our dense cable running all the way over here, and then we are splitting off over to our new section. We are using 4 channels here and 4 channels here. That's where we're using these smart cables. So we can just kind of at a peek see which line is using how many. So yeah, we're using a total of 4 channels there, 4 channels here like we want, and grand total of 11 channels on this P2P. So we still have quite a bit remaining before we have to worry about adding a second P2P over here. So this is how we got it hooked up. That line just runs all the way up here, is connecting to these, and we're talking to 4 different items. Very good. Okay, so we just need to cover this up so it doesn't look poopy anymore. And there we go. You never even know they're there. Awesome. Okay, so we have that done, and we have our extra channels here. We have our extra channels here. Our crushing factory, this needed something else to talk to. So let's get a pattern provider, and we're going to turn this into a cable one also. And I'll just break this so I can get down low. We could use a shrinking device, I guess, but we'll do this. All right, so there is another pattern provider, and then the side config we need on the bottom to be called an input. I think that's all we need to do, and it can output to the top one. That doesn't matter. And then we need 1 final cable right there. So that'll give us the extra connection that we need for this recipe, coal dust. And it says device online. I think we're good. We can just throw another one of those right there. You never even know that guy's there. Around the back, though, I think we should still be able to see it. Yeah, it's right here so we can access it if we need to. Very good. I think we are all set. And dirt. Beautiful. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is put something behind this, or we could just put a facade on it. I think we'll just put a piece of white concrete there. So yeah, we can see the thing. We don't actually see through it. I think that's fine. Okay, so now that we have all of that done, if we come over here, we want LV solar next. Why is it we still missing coal dust? We are making coal dust. Okay, so the recipe is calling for a different one. So this pattern is actually making this coal dust. Then we'll put that right back where it was. That guy goes here. And the LV solar is now happy because we're making the mechanism coal dust. And that's what it was looking for to begin with. Okay, so let's make, I don't know, can we make 10 LV solars? Okay, we were going to run out of rubber. So rubber is another thing that we need to figure out how we're going to get mass quantities of. But it seems like everything's happy here. Let's just make one. Just verify everything. Crafts. We'll cancel that craft. Yeah, it looks like we made it just fine. So that's great. All the auto crafting is working correctly. So let's take a look at rubber and how we're going to get mass quantities of this stuff. So we need latex, which we can process. We need rubber wood logs we can process into latex. Let's see. Is there any other ways? Ooh. Slime balls in front of this turns into rubber. That's interesting. Oh, you can just smell. No, that's smoking. A smoker turns it into rubber. I guess you can just use a furnace too. Okay, well, since we can do that, that's fantastic. We just need a way to get a whole lot of slime balls then. Slime. So we got slime balls early on by doing what? We put a mushroom into witch water to make slime balls. So I guess we could do this if we figure out a way to make mushrooms. I'm going to go ahead and go through these recipes real quick, see if there's something I'm overlooking. But yeah, we'll be right back. So I think we're going to go ahead and do the slime ball smelting method. So it looks like you put brown mushroom into an oak barrel with the witch water, you get a slime block, then we can convert that into slime balls. We smelt the slime balls into rubber. So the question is, how do we get the brown mushrooms? Well, if we were into EMC, we could put one in and then duplicate it. We're not quite there yet. So the first recipe shows mystical agriculture, and nature essence comes from a tier 2 seed. So we could do that. And then dirt essence comes from a tier 1 seed, and we could do that. So that is one method. Another thing that we could do is over on this other page, we have the phytogenic insulator from thermal expansion. I'm kind of eyeballing this. This doesn't seem like it's going to be too difficult to do. And this is probably going to be the simplest method to just set it and forget it, at least for a little while, until we get into mystical agriculture. So I think I want to do this. So let's go ahead and just craft all the things that can be crafted here. And then what are we missing? We're missing a machine frame, a tin gear. I think we actually had a quest for having a machine frame. There it is. And then the phytogenic insulator. I don't know if there's a quest for that. Looks like there is. Okay. So we just got a couple of quest completes here from thermal. So there's the machine frame. There's that and that. And the phytogenic insulator. Boom. Good. Got some more XP and another quest complete. I like it. Okay, so the phytogenic insulator requires power. It requires water. Let's actually move this right here. So it got some water when we do that. Okay, so we got water in there. We need power. Oh, task complete flux point. I must have unlocked that at some point. I was kind of going through the quest book and unlocking some things that we had already done before. Anyway, so we have this. So now we need to get some augments in here. Now I know if you are growing something that has seed, there's an augment to take this seed and put it right back into the start. Otherwise you have to use pipes and loop it. I assume that will work for mushrooms. I'm not entirely sure. Let's take a look here. Thermal what are they called? I thought they were called augments. They keep changing the names of these things, I feel like. So this one, cyclical processing. I think that's what you need. It just says it's for a machine. Dynamo, potion, redstone flux fluid, machine. Yeah, I think we need this particular thing. So we'll craft up those things that we can do. Is that it? Okay, so we need a redstone servo, easy. Let me actually bookmark that so I don't lose it. We need silver plates and constant tan plates. So we need 4 silver plates. I don't know if we have any constant tan. We do. It was just 2 of those. And I think we had plate making machines somewhere. We had one over here and then I moved it. I think because we weren't actually using it, we needed space. So let's take a look at... Oh, I can't even remember the name of it. So let's search by thermal. Multi-servo press. Oh, we got a quest complete for that one. So multi-servo press, we put in ingots and that should platify them. Unless we have the augment to turn them into a gear. But yeah, so let me go ahead and make these plates and then we will make this particular augment here. Okay, so I made a few upgrades here. We made the cyclical processing. I made a resonant integral component for it, and then a couple of flux linkage amplifiers, which increases the base power. I also fully upgraded our multi-servo press over here, so it wasn't taking forever to make things. So that's quite kind of nice. Now, I am curious, if we put a mushroom in here, how long does it take to make another one? Okay, that's not bad. Then we can also add bone meal in here, which should... Okay, so it's doubling it. We're getting 2 per... But that is using bone meal kind of fast. It looks like sometimes it uses 1, or does it use 1 every time? Looks like it uses 1 every time. But that doubles the amount of mushrooms that we're getting. So I guess that's fine. Yeah, this seems to be working quite well, honestly. If I put extra mushrooms in there, what happens? It just keeps them in there. Okay, so we only really need 1. Yeah, I like this. All right, very good. So yes, this is a nice way for us to get extra mushrooms. So the next thing is we need to get ourselves some kind of method of making witch water, and then we need to take these mushrooms, dump it into the witch water, and have a method to extract out the slime. All right, so I think this setup is going to work pretty good. We're underneath our mystical agriculture area. So we have 8 of these oak barrels, and they're sitting on top of mycelium. We have a sink to provide infinite water, and we're using universal pipes here to pump the water into the barrels, and we're also going to use that same pipe to pump mushrooms into the barrels as well. So I'm going to put our phytogenic insulator right here, give it some power, and then the bottom side of this is going to be set to output. Okay, so we need mushrooms in here, and that should just be mushrooming. We need automatic output enabled. Actually, I think I need to turn the pipe so it extracts. That would probably be the thing to do. So we need this guy, like so. And then I guess I'll also throw this upgrade on here as well. Okay, so yes, all of that witch water has now been turned into slime blocks, which is great. Like so, is that gonna, is that water gonna be fast enough? Do I need an upgrade on there? No, it looks like that is keeping up just fine. Perfect. Okay, so yes, we are doing everything we need to. These all need to be set to extract. I have not done that yet, so this continues on. All of these are extracting into this compacting drawer, so we should be able to get regular slime balls or the slime blocks. And then I have a storage bus on here, which is connected to our applied energistics network, right? So all of that is connected to our system. And at this point, I think we are just making slime for free. Yeah, I don't think we have to do anything else. Now, we could make it faster. We could make it faster, as we saw before, by putting bone meal into here. But it looks like we are producing mushrooms faster than we are using. I think I'll have to keep an eye on this. That might not be true. And then we do have the augments in here to make this as fast as possible. So if this is not keeping up, then we will have to provide bone meal if we want this to go as fast as possible. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on this and just see how this goes. And with it all said and done, this is the way we are looking with it all buttoned up. So it turns out that the phytogenic insulator with these augments in it has enough brown mushrooms that it can put into 5 different barrels. Yeah. If we have more than 5 barrels, we make more witch water than we have mushrooms, and then it just starts over from the end. So the last 3 of them never got used. So I went ahead and rearranged this whole setup. So we're only using 5 barrels. We are not using any bone meal. And yeah, this just works. So we are essentially getting 1 slime block about every 2 seconds. So if we take a look over at our applied energistics system here, at our slime, we can just watch that number slowly go up. I guess it's probably about every 3 or 4 seconds, not every 2 seconds. But yes, we are getting them quite quickly, about as fast as that phytogenic insulator is making a mushroom. We're getting a slime block. So that is great. Each one of these slime balls we can smelt into the rubber. So let's go ahead and make a recipe for that. Whoops, let's go ahead and unbookmark all of these things here. Yeah, so we want rubber. Rubber gets smelted from a slime balls. Beautiful, it filled in the right thing. And then we just put that over into our furnace. Ultimate smelting factory. Looks like we're gonna have to do the same thing here and get another interface or pattern provider on there. We're out of space. Okay, so now that we've done that, if I do LV solar, say I wanted to make 10 of these, we weren't able to do that before. Now we can. That's great. Okay, but I don't think we want to make 10 of those. We want to make MV solar. So in order to do that, we need 6 LV solars as part of the recipe. And then we need these advanced circuits and stuff. So let's go ahead and see if we can make an MV one. So we'll make a recipe for this. We're going to have to figure out how that's made. Advanced alloy, we're going to have to figure out how that's made. And the advanced circuit. So advanced circuit comes from that stuff. That looks fine. And then this electronic circuit we've already made. Yeah, so that's just upgrading the electronic circuit. Advanced alloy, we need, looks like mixed metal blend. So in order to make that, oh, actually, is there a few different recipes here? I remember in the past when we were making mixed metal, depending on the ingredients you put in, it made different quantities. So this is iron, bronze, and tin. This is electrum, iron, and tin. And aluminum, constantan, and iron. I think this is probably the simplest recipe. So let's go with bronze, iron, and tin. Okay, so that says it's gonna, oh my goodness. That Enderman just scared me. I was not expecting that. So energy crystal, that's a simple recipe. Okay, I thought we were gonna have to do something crazy here, but no, we can just go ahead and make one of those. Awesome. So molecular assembler, that, this, those guys, and this one. I think that's all we needed to do. We do actually need to smelt the mixed metal. And my guess is we are going to need some patterns to create dust out of something. So let's just try and make an MV. Okay, so we can't make the advanced alloy because... Oh, I didn't actually put that into the furnace, did I? Advanced smelting, ultimate smelting. I need to get another pattern provider on that. Right, so we were just missing a recipe for bronze dust, so I just crafted one of those. So MV, can we make this now? It looks like everything's happy, so we'll just go ahead and tell it to craft all these things. And all sorts of auto crafting is happening here. Very good. Look at that, we made an MV solar panel. This guy again, oh my goodness. Bone splitter, I think that's the one we actually are using right now. Except I've upgraded this to a netherite. So that is a good axe, but we don't need it. So now that we have this solar panel, I did want to see if they copied the ability for putting MV into an LV if it just makes things explode. So I'm going to grab this LV battery box. I'm going to stick it right here in the center, not next to anything in particular. If I put this here, does it blow up? It did not blow up. Now, it might be it's not blowing up because it needs to put that power somewhere. I'm not sure. But I did want to see if that would be a problem. So basic generator centrifuge. So maybe if we put the MV on the centrifuge and then do something with the centrifuge, we might be able to get it to explode. That's something that I would like to find out. Okay, so a rubberwood sapling in the centrifuge turns into... something. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, let's put the MV solar right on here. And put that in there. Is it just working? Are we not going to get explosions here? It should be using power. We're gaining power. Okay, it looks like you can pipe in MV into LV machines in this pack. In this mod, and they don't explode. Old school Industrial Craft 2, you could not do this. This would explode and it'd take out blocks and like a 3x3 around it. So that's good to know. Okay, very good.